Are you winning? Do you need help in your life or business? Could you use some inspiration, business strategies, and success principles? I'm Daniel Gomez, award-winning business coach, keynote speaker, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you create a successful life and elevate your business. Together, we will discover the keys that unlock your success and dreams. Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, where we motivate you, we inspire you, and we educate you. And today, I'll tell you what, we got a special guest today. This dear friend of mine, she's dear to my heart, very, very successful businesswoman out of California. I want you to do this right now. I want you to get out your pen. I want you to get out your paper, because she's going to drop some massive wisdom, because she knows what she's talking about when it comes to business and just really inspiring people to get the best out of them. Let's welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, Dr. Kimberly Hubenette. How you doing, doctor?
Hey, woohoo! How are you, Daniel?
I'll tell you what, I'm excited to have you on our show. I've had it on our calendar, and man, I'll tell you what, Dr. Kimberly, I know the beautiful person you are. Do me a favor, introduce yourself to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, please.
Yes, my name is Dr. Kimberly Hubenette, and I've been a dentist for over 30 years now this year. I am an author, a speaker, and I also like to motivate my patients and my staff and my people that I'm around to live life to the fullest and don't take anything for granted.
I love it. I love it. And yes, you heard it right, ladies and gentlemen. She's a doctor, a dentist, but she's also a speaker and an author. And Dr. Kimberly, you know, I just love your story, because you've been defying the odds just so many times in your life. And I want to ask you this. First of all, what made you want to go into business for yourself? Because I meet so many people that are successful, right? And they're like, well, I never really thought I was going to be here. What prompted you to open up your own business practice as a dentist?
So growing up, I came from a American Chinese family. And my parents always stressed for me to be successful, become a great business owner. And, and in that aspect, they wanted me to be a doctor, a lawyer, or some sort of medical professional, right? And so I grew up with pretty high standards for myself, and I always wanted to do something like this. And so my dad was a dentist, and I thought, you know what? I like his life. I like the fact that, he's a doctor and he still can have time with his family, go on vacations, not open all hours of the night, going to the hospital and stuff like that. And he was still, a doctor. So I decided that early on, like when I was in high school at the end of my senior year, I decided, Dad, I'm going to become a dentist. And he almost dropped over like, oh, are you serious? He thought one of his sons was going to be a dentist. But I decided to take over like that aspect.
Well, I like the word you're saying, right? You decided.
Yeah.
We meet so many people in life today, Dr. Kimberly, that never make a decision. How hard was it for you to make a decision? And why do you think most people in today's world, they never make a decision for themselves?
Well, it really is hard to make a decision, but you just have to think about what life is bringing you and what type of things that, is going to make you happy. I was always motivated. I knew I was going to do something in life, be influential to somebody. And I think it has to do with your upbringing. I don't know. I mean, it's in here, like I have two other siblings, and my one brother is an attorney and my other brother is an accountant. Okay. But early on, one of my brothers, the accountant one, he kind of had some, situations that got him into some trouble, with his life. And, I think that it really does have to do with your internal self. You can have the same parents, and then some kids turn out one way, some kids turn out the other way, but there it's all inside.
Would you say sometimes maybe people are too hard on themselves? Just the fact that, like, I think what I want you to hear this, ladies and gentlemen, because the key thing is we're talking about Dr. Kimberly decided to become a dentist, and she's been very successful at it. And so many times we struggle with making a decision. And I think what I want you to hear, what we're talking about, is you're going to make a decision and don't worry about the outcome. Sometimes we focus so much on the decision that we make that it keeps us from making a decision that's going to benefit us.
Yeah. And
Does
I've
that
been
make sense?
open, I've been open to, coaching all my life. I've always had like somebody, a mentor, whether it be my parents, my teachers, somebody that I'm always trying to better myself in my life. My thought is constant and never improving. And so it's can I? Constant and never ending improvement is what my motto is. And so when I met Daniel a couple of years ago, I was at a point in my life where, I don't know if we talked about it or not yet, but my husband passed away about 3 years from a double lung transplant. He had cystic fibrosis. We always knew that he was going to be, the one to pass away first. And I was kind of down in the dumps. I had a successful practice for over 20 years, and still, when something devastating like that happens, you can prepare yourself, but it's hard to really feel everything until the day that it really happens. And when it really happened, I prepared myself for a long time, and he had prepared me all as well. But you never really know until it hits you the day that it happens, So at that point, I had to pick myself up. I had to keep on going. My dental practice needed me. My staff members, I had 9 staff members at the time. They needed me to be the strong person that I had been for all my lifetime. And yet I still struggled to get myself going. But I find people and I surround myself with people that I want to be like, and I made myself get out of my funk with the help, obviously, of you and my people, my surrounding people. My staff members helped me. I had a little bit of help from my community, my dog lovers community. Yeah, I just try to be open to betterment, let's say.
I love that. So ladies and gentlemen, think about it write this down. Where am I not making a decision to ask for help? I love what Dr. Kimberly is talking about, because so many times in life, we think we can prepare, right? There's a preparation for losing a loved one. I'll never forget when my dad passed away. We knew that the day was going to come, but when it happens, you still got to go. There's still a grieving process. There's still, right? We're human beings, so we're gonna feel the emotions. And I think what Dr. Kimberly is saying, ladies and gentlemen, is it's okay to ask for help. Maybe you're stuck in a life. Maybe you're listening to our show today and you're thinking, Daniel, I'm glad I tuned in, because I've been stuck in this rut. I've been stuck in this depression. I've been stuck in this oppression. I've been stuck in this, under this black cloud. And you have to have the courage to know that it's okay to ask for help. Dr. Kimberly saying, I met her 2 years ago already. But it doesn't even seem like that, Dr. Kimberly, but she initially hired me to be her coach, and then our friendship just grew, and now she's doing amazing things. And she said, I love what I do as a dentist, but I want to decide to become this author and then go out there and speak. And now you're living. Would you say you're living more now than you ever have before in your life, Dr. Kimberly?
Totally. I mean, you know, like you have a certain level that when you're in your 20s, you have a certain level that you can get to. And then in your 30s, you start like, thinking, "Oh, I know what I'm doing." And then in your 40s, you really know what you're doing. And then when you're in your 50s, like me now, it's like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm going to do what I want now, you know?
Well, I mean, but you just you just seem happier. You seem more joyous, and it breaks my heart when I meet people that they're in a job, they're in a situation where they're not happy. And I love what you did. You reinvented yourself to right. I'm a successful dentist, successful doctor. I'm doing my practice, but you built an amazing team to where now it allows you to travel and do what you want to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're sharing this story with you. We're sharing Dr. Kimberly's story with you because it all started with her making a decision. And I'm going to go back to you and ask you again, where in your life do you need to make a decision to change what you need to change? To stop allowing that black cloud to be around you. That it's okay to ask for help. And she's opening her heart, right? I mean, just imagine. I don't think it's easy for you talking about your husband that's passed, but she's sharing the story because she wants to help people. And maybe I know what it's like to lose my mom at 10 years old. It's never easy, but there does come a day when you have to make the decision to pick yourself off the floor. And you don't have to run forward. You can take a small baby step, maybe even just crawl forward, but you got to start moving forward. Dr. Kimberly, do me a favor. If someone's listening to this that's lost a loved one, give them a word of encouragement if you don't mind.
Yeah, like the first year, like they say, oh, you're not supposed to make a big decision of moving or, doing stuff that, selling your house or anything like that. But, what you do is you take baby steps. Help yourself out. Like I get up every morning and, I have a dog. My dog is my best friend. So I got a pet, right? And I knew I had to get up and feed her and walk her, and it helped me like keep on moving. So some people need pets, some people need, like their child or something to help them get out of their funk and move forward. Baby steps every day. Get up, breathe. I learned how to like take a deep breath, like 10 breaths a day, like really breathe and feel the fresh air and go out and, just look at the sky and say, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to be alive today, and honestly, I'm not really that spiritual, but I've found now in the past 2 years, especially, Daniel is very inspirational with that. And I have been more happy and more spiritually open to life and, in the past 2 years than I ever have been. And my husband, when he passed away, pretty much he was atheist, okay? But before he passed away, he actually accepted God into his life.
Wow.
And he was so open to learning in the past like 3 weeks prior to his death. Like he was so open to, having Jesus Christ in his life even. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is the same person. And like he had me like listening to all these podcasts with him for the past, he couldn't even speak, but he kept saying, turn it on, turn it on, you know. It's just, I think that we all have a purpose in life, and we find like different things that we can do in life, but we all have a purpose, and we need to find our purpose, and we need to share it with the world and be open to learning from people, be open to like sharing. And be honest with ourselves, you know, about what we are doing in life and how we can create and help others. No matter if it's a little itty bitty thing, you should know that your life is worth something. Like, even to my dog, I'm alive for my dog. My dog needs me to be happy and healthy and alive. And my purpose for her is that I'm her human, you know?
Yeah.
It could be as simple as that.
Are you an aspiring speaker? Do you have a book that you've been wanting to write for months, maybe even years? Or are you an aspiring podcaster? You want to start that podcast like the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show and don't know where to start? Well, at Daniel Gomez Enterprises, we can help you do all three. We can help you become that paid speaker, share your story to the world, write your book, and get your podcast launched and help you produce it. We'd love to help you. Give us a call at 210-663-5954. That's 210-663-5954. We can help you become that paid speaker, write that book, and launch your podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call now. Sometimes people don't feel that they have a purpose, so they don't feel like they matter. And I remember when my brother, my oldest brother, committed suicide, he hung himself. And I think that hit me. I was older. I was like 20. No, I was older. I was in my 30s. But I share that with you because it really hurt me. But I got depressed. I had never been depressed before. And I really got depressed, but I had to reach out for help. And you know what really helped me was my dog Bucket. I took him for a walk because I literally stayed 30 days outside of work. I didn't work for 30 days. I was just in this funk and depressed. And I didn't know what depression was looked like because I had never been depressed before. But taking Bucket out for a walk. And then one day he was just tugging at the rope. And I said, okay, Punk, I hadn't jogged or ran in a while. I ended up jogging that day. And the next morning he was there at the bed with his leash, ready to go for another run. Because I pushed him that day because I said, okay, we're not going to walk, we're going to run. But I share that with you, ladies and gentlemen, because you got to start getting active again. You're listening to this episode and you're saying, God, why do you have me listening to this episode? It's because maybe you're stuck. You're stuck in life. You're stuck in the past. You can never move forward if you're stuck in your failures, your mistakes of the past. Get over it. And I share that with the humble heart because I've made mistakes. Dr. Kimberly, man, I've made so many mistakes that as a leader, as a husband, as a father, I have failed over and over again. But I get back up and I ask myself, okay, well, did you learn the lesson? And sometimes you got to sit in that, right? Sometimes you got to sit in your mistake. You got to sit in your failure so you grasp what the actual lesson is behind it. And it's okay if you're down right now, soak in the lesson that the world's trying to teach you, that God's trying to teach you, and then get up and like, Doctor, I'm going to restore back to that word. That word is so powerful today. Decide to get back up and decide to make new decisions. And that's what Dr. Kimberly did. She decided to get up. She decided to ask for help. And you need to ask yourself today, where in my life do I need help? Where in my business do I need help? Because if we get stuck in that rut, if we get stuck in our own story of the past, then we're never going to move forward in life. And it's time for you to move forward. You're listening to this episode for a reason. And Dr. Kimberly is opening her heart to let you know that it's okay. It's okay when you're going through life and maybe you don't know what your purpose is. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Kimberly is a doctor, right? She in the world's eyes, she's made it very successful in business. But then she says, well, why not write a book? Why not go speak? And now you're really living life to another level. And somebody here listening to this show or watching it on YouTube, you got to start living life to it, right? You're doing something because you're doing it as a job, but it's not bringing you joy. It's not bringing you happiness. Think about what is it that you really want to do with yourself. And yes, you heard her right. She looks a lot younger, but she's in her 50s and now she's working on her second book.
Yeah.
So talking about book, let's kind of, what is someone going to get out of your book? Yeah, you have a copy of your book with you right there. I want to show you. Okay, so I want you to go to Amazon, get a copy of Grid. When someone reads Grid, #1 Amazon bestseller, what are they gonna, what's something that the audience, that your author, the reader reading the book's gonna take away from that?
So my book grid is about a lady that loses her husband in the wildfires. And she goes out into the wilderness and she starts surviving again on her own. Now they're about survival in this book. One, mentally, and two is what you're going to do for yourself. That there's in the back of the book, I have different things of how to prepare for a wildfire, how to prepare for an emergency evacuation, how to prepare your dogs, your pets, your horses, your animals for, a preparation of an emergency, such as it could be even a hurricane or an earthquake. There's always things that you can do to prepare yourself. I have a bug out bag in each of my cars just in case something happens to me, when I'm out somewhere. We've been in our area of Sonoma County, we've been evacuated at least 15 different times in the past 3 years because of wildfire prevention stuff. And I've had to evacuate so many times. I mean, I'm ready to, I have a camper. I'm all packed and ready to go no matter what in the case of something happening. In each of my cars, I have, emergency backpack for me and my dog. I have like a supply of like clothes. I have a couple of like power bars, a little bit of water. I have even like jumper cables, those kind of things. You have to be prepared. And so my book has both mental, like I said, about how to survive in the wilderness, as well as how to survive, like how to prepare to survive.
I love it. Well, the mental aspect is what speaks to me. What are two takeaways your readers going to get from your book? And when it comes to the mental, talk to us about the mental part. Why does someone, okay, let me reframe the question, Dr. Kimberly. Why does someone not make it in the forest when they're not prepared mentally? Talk to us about that.
So, if you're not mentally prepared, you're going to psych yourself out. And, there's some people that, have survived for 30 days out in the wilderness. Remember some of those TV shows that they have out there, like to survival? Well, basically, if you're not prepared, you're going to psych yourself out. There's some people also that, they go out, they get disoriented. They don't know where they're going. Like for me, if I were to go somewhere on my own, I mentally look at my surroundings. I mentally know, where I'm going. I might even like drop a few like, rocks or something to see where I am. And then know how to come back to that area. You should always be looking. Even like if you're going to the grocery store, let's say, you should know your surroundings. Don't be looking at your phone, like not knowing where you're going, because you could get lost. Or you could have, somebody like come abduct you or something,
Yeah, no,
Just always be prepared. That's all.
when you said that, I was thinking about, I saw this video, and the guy was literally looking at his phone like this, and next thing you know, guess what? He fell in the water fountain.
Yeah, see? I mean, geez. Like, or you hit a wall or you fall over or something. Gosh, come on.
But people have been seriously hurt because, but when it's funny, but it's not funny, right? He's walking and he literally, like it was a pretty hard fall into and it was a big water fountain, but people have hurt themselves big time because they're not cognitive, or they fall off a ledge and they get hurt or break their ankle. It just, Dr. Kimberly's right. I love that. I love that.
I'm just saying, be aware of your surroundings, like, because if you're not, you could really hurt yourself.
So the question I want to ask you is, what have you learned about yourself as you started making this transition and started really living life? And now, right, your book grade is out, and you can go to Amazon, ladies and gentlemen, and get a copy of that book. Definitely go and order it. It's going to bless you. What are some things you learned about yourself that you're like, man, I didn't know that I could do this? Like, what are two things that really surprised you in your latter years in life as you started going into your 50s and now you're truly living life?
Well, when my husband was around, he used to kind of, make me do things that I'm like, why are you making me do that? I'm a girl, right? And so he goes, you need to learn this. So there's two things that I remember like growing up. Number one, my dad made me take a class for my car, so I know how to change a battery and spark plugs. Number two, like, I can go out and, I I'm tough enough that I could go out and like go climb a tree, or I could go fix. I actually was able to fix some wires in my house, not knowing like that I could do it, right? Well, I just tried. I said, look, it can't be that difficult. So I go and I open up the electric box. And of course, I shut off the electricity for something. And I saw the red, the green, the black, and the blue wires. And I saw how they were connected. And then I went to the box that was broken and I looked again and see what was going on. I mean, I fixed it. I did. I mean, and if I hadn't have gone through life knowing I couldn't do something on my own, I don't think I would have been able to do that. That was one thing.
I love that. Yeah, because
And then,
people need to
yeah,
understand that they're right. You're stronger than you think. You're smarter than you realize, ladies and gentlemen. But you can't be scared to try the new in your life. You have to go out there and try new things. And maybe for you, it's like, well, I don't have a home. Well, yeah, but what is it new that you need to try? And you're never gonna know if you can succeed in it if you're not out there trying new experiences, giving yourself that new opportunity to do something new.
yeah. So there's two things that I started doing after my husband passed away that I'm really proud of. I was never really that energetic as to like exercise, right? To like do 5K, 10K, that kind of stuff, or running. So I started taking up hiking, and I started hiking with a group that it was for end world hunger, and we all started like little. We started helping each other out, going like practicing, and our goal was to climb Half Dome in Yosemite. I ended up climbing Half Dome in Yosemite 2 years ago, and that was a feat that I never thought I would ever do. It was really difficult. And then the next year, last year, we hiked from the same group and World Hunger. We decided to go from Mammoth to Yosemite on the John Muir Trail. And that was a feat too. But oh my gosh, is it so rewarding to see that wilderness out there? And not
Yes,
that many people do that, and now I'm starting to do a lot of hiking and taking people on mini hikes too.
I love it. I'm loving this episode, and as we're coming to the end of it, ladies and gentlemen, I really want you to ask you, reflect back on what we've talked about. What decision do you need to make? What decision do you need to make for yourself? And stop delaying that decision. And then where in your life do you need to ask for help? When Dr. Kimberly lost her husband, she was honest with herself. She needed someone to pull her out. She got a coach, she got a mentor, and we were blessed to be there for her and work with her through that. And then the last thing is, right, where do you got to go out there and challenge yourself to try something new? Imagine climbing Yosemite. I mean, that's not if you never stretch yourself, you're never going to get to the new places you deserve to be at. Let me say it again. If you never stretch yourself, you're never going to get to the new places in your life, in your business that you need to get to. And I really truly want to inspire you today and encourage you to go get one of her books, Grid, read it, because maybe you're not prepared the way you think you are. And maybe you're like, Daniel, I don't need jumper cables. Well, good. Maybe you don't, but where other area of your life are you not prepared? Because the way we do something, Dr. Kimberly, is the way we do everything. So if you're not prepared in one area of your life, the odds are you're not prepared in another area of your life. And then something happens, and then we're like, well, how did this happen? Because you weren't prepared. And there's no such thing as too much preparation. Man, Dr. Kimberly, I love this episode. Let me ask you this before, one last question before you leave us here is, what is a scripture or a quote that you rely on in times of adversity? What is a scripture or a quote that you rely on in those days of adversity?
So Confucius is one of the people, that I really like. And there's a quote that my mom used to tell me as well. Character is something that you have when nobody's looking. You still have character. So find a character, right? So the quote is, character is when nobody's looking and you're still doing what you're supposed to do. Right?
Character is still doing what you're supposed to be doing when no one is looking.
Exactly. And that's one of
Wow.
my favorite quotes.
Boom, baby. Maybe take that quote to heart. Character is doing what you're supposed to be doing, even when no one is looking.
Yeah.
Maybe your business isn't where it's at right now, ladies and gentlemen, because your character, somebody's not looking and you're not delivering the value you need to your clients. Or maybe you're not just being honest. You're not being a person of character. Are you doing the things that you need to be doing when no one's watching, like Dr. Kimberly said? Dr. Kimberly, if somebody wants to connect with you, how do we connect with you?
Go to my website, drkimberlyhubenette.com, or you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram at author Dr. Kimberly Hubenette.
Awesome. And we're going to have all her information in the show notes, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for joining us, Dr. Kimberly, today. And ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for this week's episode. Remember this, if you're stuck in life, if you're stuck in business, we want to help you. Go to danielgomezglobal.com. That's danielgomezglobal.com and do our free complimentary entrepreneurs assessment. We want to help you there. And then go to our website, themakingsofamillionairemind.com, and get your autographed copy of The Makings of a Millionaire.com. We want to ship it to you here in the States. Or go to Audible. It's available on Audible right now. So get your copy today. We've sold thousands of copies. It's helped thousands of people. We want you to be the next one. Until next week, here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we'll see you here with another amazing guest. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! This is Daniel Gomez Inspires, and thank you for listening to our show today. Please share this episode with a friend, leave us a review, and subscribe to our show. And for listening to our show today, I want to give you a free gift. I want to invite you to our Millionaire Mind community. Text the word millionaire, that's millionaire, to 210-942-5059. Yes, join our community today and receive millionaire affirmations, inspirational quotes on a weekly basis. That's 210-942-5059. Text the word millionaire today and join our community. And once again, thank you for listening to our show.